The rain came down in sheets against the glass, turning downtown Seattle into a watercolor blur. Maya Lancaster stood at the window of her 28th floor office, motionless as a statue. 6:03 in the morning, and she was already here, always here. Behind her, the grandfather clock ticked with the mechanical precision. Each second measured, controlled, predictable. On her desk sat a cup of Earl Grey tea, untouched and cooling. She'd made it an hour ago, the same ritual every morning, yet somehow never remembered to drink it. Her reflection stared back from the rain-streaked window. Perfect black suit, hair pulled back so tight it made her temples ache. Skin pale in the gray morning light. She pressed one hand flat against the glass. Cold seeped through her palm, sharp and clarifying. Her breath fogged a small circle on the window, then vanished. The city stretched below, waking slowly. Thousands of people starting their days, going home to families, to someone who noticed when they were late, to someone who warmed cold tea without being asked. Maya didn't move. She stood there waiting, though she couldn't have said for what. Something that never came. Something that stopped coming a long time ago. The clock behind her kept ticking. Across town, chaos reigned in a small Capitol Hill apartment. "Daddy, you're going to be late again." Connor, Reed, rushed through the kitchen, nearly tripping over Harper's backpack, which had somehow exploded across the floor. Books, pencils, a half-finished drawing of the solar system. He grabbed the coffee pot with one hand while trying to tie Harper's shoe with the other, a feat that defied both physics and common sense. "I know, sweetie. I know." The smell of burnt toast filled the air. Harper, all of 8 years old, stood on a chair by the counter, straightening his tie with the solemn concentration of a surgeon. Her small fingers worked the knot with practiced efficiency. Too practiced for someone her age. "Ms. Winters is going to make that scary face," Harper said, matter-of-factly. Connor choked back a laugh despite his anxiety. The one where her left eyebrow goes up, and her lips get all pinched. Harper demonstrated scrunching her face into an impressively accurate imitation. "That's her 'I'm disappointed in you' face. Sophie from daycare says her mom worked for Ms. Winters and cried every day." "Well, I promise not to cry." Connor glanced at his wrist at the old watch his father had given him years ago. The hands were frozen at 3:47. He'd been meaning to fix it. Kept meaning to. Never did. His phone buzzed. Mrs. Chen, their neighbor. "I'll be there in 5 minutes to take Harper to school." Relief flooded through him. What would he do without Mrs. Chen? "Homework," he asked Harper. "In my backpack." "Lunch." Harper's face fell slightly. "You forgot again, didn't you?" The familiar stab of guilt hit him square in the chest. Single parenting was 1,000 small failures dressed up as good intentions. "I'll leave money with Mrs. Chen." Harper's smile returned bright as sunshine. "Pizza day?" Connor kissed the top of her head, breathing in the smell of her strawberry shampoo. These small moments, these perfect fleeting seconds, they were everything. "Pizza day," he agreed. Then he grabbed his jacket and ran for the door, coffee forgotten on the counter tie, slightly crooked, already 10 minutes late for a meeting with the woman who made grown professionals cry. He had no idea this would be the day everything changed. The conference room at Apex Creative felt like a pressure cooker at 8:30 in the morning. Connor burst through the door, soaked from the rain he'd run through from the parking garage. His dark hair dripped water onto the polished table. Every head turned. 15 people had been sitting there for exactly 17 minutes according to the precise clock on the wall. Maya Lancaster stood at the head of the table, iPad in hand, perfectly composed in her black suit. She didn't look up. "Nice of you to join us, Reed." Her voice was cool as winter rain. No inflection, no anger, just a statement of fact that somehow felt worse than yelling. Connor set down his wet coat water pooling on the leather chair. "Good morning to you too, Victoria." He caught himself. "Maya. I meant Maya. Traffic was a nightmare. The Bergman pitch is tomorrow." She finally looked up and her dark eyes met his across the table. Something flickered there too quick to name. "I need those revisions by noon. The revisions you requested at 11 p.m. last night." Connor kept his voice level professional. "The ones that require completely restructuring the campaign we've spent 3 weeks developing." Around the table, the design team held its collective breath. Jake, the junior designer, slouched lower in his seat, trying to disappear. Next to him, Sarah raised her eyebrows incrementally, as if watching a tennis match. Maya's expression didn't change. "Is there a problem? Besides the impossible deadlines, constant revisions, and your apparent belief that none of us have lives outside this office." Connor smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "No. No problem at all." Rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows. The sound filled the silence stretching between them. Outside, the city was drowning. Inside, everyone waited to see who would break first. Maya's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Her fingers pressed white against the edge of her iPad. "Then I'll expect the revisions by noon." She turned back to the screen behind her, dismissing him without another word. The presentation continued. Connor sat in his wet clothes, feeling the cold seep through to his skin, watching the back of Maya's head. Across the table, Jake leaned towards Sarah and whispered, $5 says he quits by lunch." Sarah considered. "He's lasted longer than the others." Neither of them noticed Connor's hands hidden below the table were trembling slightly. Not from cold, not from anger, from something he couldn't quite name yet. If you're enjoying this story of two wounded souls on a collision course, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe for the next part. Hit that like button if you believe in second chances and love that's worth fighting for. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. The morning deteriorated from there. By 10:30, Connor had revised the Bergman pitch twice. Maya had sent it back both times, her notes written in precise red digital ink across every slide. Too safe, not innovative enough. Missing the emotional hook. Each comment felt like a paper cut, small but stinging. He sat at his desk staring at the margins of his notebook where he'd unconsciously sketched while thinking. Abstract shapes, a woman's profile, sharp angles softening into curves. He didn't realize it was Maya until Jake walked past and did a double take. Connor flipped the page quickly. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He declined the call without looking. Third time this week. Probably a spam caller. Another text from Mrs. Chen. Harper seemed sad at drop-off this morning. Everything okay? Everything was fine. Everything was always fine. That's what single parents said when they were drowning. He typed back, "Just tired, long week, thank you for checking." The lie tasted bitter. Across the office, Maya stood at her window again. Her assistant had brought lunch an hour ago. The container sat on her desk unopened. She'd forgotten to eat, again. Below, the city moved, people crossing streets, hailing cabs, living lives that didn't require standing alone in glass towers watching the world from a distance. Her reflection stared back. When had she become this person? When had control become isolation? She thought of Connor's words that morning. Your apparent belief that none of us have lives outside this office. The truth of it sat heavy in her chest. Her phone rang. She glanced at the screen. Her father's lawyer. She let it go to voicemail. Whatever he wanted could wait. Everything could wait. The grandfather clock ticked behind her. Steady, relentless. Time marching forward whether you moved with it or not. At 11:47, Connor's phone rang. Pine Grove Elementary flashed across the screen. His stomach dropped before he even answered. "Mr. Reed, this is Nurse Patterson. Harper has a fever, 101.2. Can you come get her?" Connor looked at his computer screen. The Bergman pitch half revised. Maya's latest round of notes glaring at him in red, the deadline ticking closer. He glanced toward Maya's office. Through the glass walls, he could see her in an intense meeting with the Bergman clients themselves. They'd arrived early, wanting to see the campaign in progress. Maya's face was animated, confident, selling them on a vision Connor hadn't even finished creating yet. "Mr. Reed, are you there? Yes, I'm here." He ran his hand through his hair. "I'll be there as soon as I can." He hung up, stared at his phone, looked at Mrs. Chen's contact. His finger hovered over the call button. No. He'd already asked her to take Harper to school, to pick her up 3 times last week when meetings ran late, to stay past 7 when pitches went long. There was a limit to kindness even from neighbors who felt like family. Harper needed him. His daughter needed him. Connor grabbed his jacket. Maya saw him through the glass, saw him stand, saw him put on his jacket, saw him walk toward her office while she was mid-sentence with Michael Bergman, the client who could make or break their quarter. She excused herself, stepping into the hallway. Her heels clicked against the polished floor. Sharp. Precise. Connor met her outside her office door. "What?" Not a question, a statement of irritation. "Harper's sick. I need to go." Maya's expression didn't change. "The Bergman presentation is in 4 hours. I know. I can work from home. You can work from here. Your daughter has a fever, not pneumonia." The words came out automatic. Efficient. The same logic she'd applied to herself for years. Work came first. Everything else was distraction. Everything else was weakness. Connor's face went very still. When he spoke, his voice was quiet, dangerously quiet. "She's 9, and she's terrified of being alone. Then maybe you should have thought about that before taking a job with adult responsibilities." The moment the words left her mouth, Maya knew she'd crossed a line. But she couldn't take them back. Didn't know how to take them back. Her armor had been on so long she'd forgotten how to remove it. Connor stared at her. Really looked at her, and something in his expression shifted. Not anger. Something worse. Pity. "You have no idea what it's like," he said softly. "To be everything for someone. To know that if you fail, it's not just you who suffers." Maya went very still. Connor took a step closer. "You think I don't understand sacrifice. You think I don't know what it means to give up everything for something that matters. You don't know anything about me." Her voice came out harder than intended. "I know enough. I know you get here before everyone and leave after everyone. I know you never eat lunch. I know you stand at that window every morning like you're trying to disappear into the city." Maya's breath caught. How long had he been watching her? "I know," Connor continued, voice dropping lower, "that whatever happened to you convinced you that being alone is safer than being hurt again." "Stop." The word came out barely above a whisper. "Someone left you, didn't they?" Maya felt something crack inside her chest. A fissure in the wall she'd spent 25 years building. "I said stop," but tears were forming. She blinked them back furiously. She didn't cry. Never cried. Not since she was 9 years old, standing in the rain waiting for a mother who never came home. Connor's face softened. "Maya, you want to know what happened?" The words burst out before she could stop them. "My mother walked out when I was 9, just left. No note, no explanation. My father buried himself in work, in this work. She gestured wildly at the office around them. "And I learned that the only person you can rely on is yourself. That love is just a prettier word for betrayal." The confession hung between them. Raw, unplanned, more honest than she'd been with anyone in years. Through the glass wall of her office, the Bergman clients were checking their watches, waiting. Connor stared at her, really seeing her for the first time. Not the Ice Queen, not the demanding boss, just a woman who'd learned to survive by never needing anyone. "Maya," he said again, softer this time. Don't you dare pity me. I don't pity you. I understand you. How could you possibly? My wife left 18 months ago. Connor's jaw tightened. Just decided being a mother was too hard, too boring, too much like being trapped. And every day I watch Harper wait by the mailbox for letters that never come. Every day I wonder if I'm enough. If I'll ever be enough to make up for the parent who didn't stay. Maya's breath hitched. Recognition flooded her face. "Connor, And then something happened that neither of them planned. Maya grabbed his shirt collar and pulled him to her. The kiss was not gentle. It was 25 years of loneliness compressed into a single moment. It was Connor's hand cradling her jaw like she was something precious and breakable. It was rain hammering the windows and the muffled sound of the city below, and the knowledge that everything was about to change. Behind them, the grandfather clock ticked louder. Louder. Then stopped. Complete silence except for their breathing and the rain. They broke apart, stared at each other. Connor's hand was still on her face. Maya's fingers were twisted in his shirt. Through the glass walls, the entire office had frozen. 15 people staring, mouths open, not even pretending to work. Jake slowly raised his phone as if to document the moment for posterity. Sarah smacked his arm down. Maya saw them. Horror flooded her face. Oh God. She grabbed her purse, walked out of her office, fast, not running, but close, her heels echoing down the hallway toward the elevator. Connor stood there, hand still raised where her face had been, lips still tingling, brain trying to process what just happened. The Bergman clients emerged from Maya's office looking confused. "Is everything all right?" Michael Bergman asked. Connor couldn't speak, couldn't think, could only taste Earl Grey tea on his lips and wonder if he'd just destroyed his career. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Pine Grove Elementary again. He answered, still in a daze. "Mr. Reed, this is Louise from the library. Harper's reading buddy wanted me to call. She's worried because Harper seemed upset when she had to leave early. Is everything okay?" Connor's brain stuttered back to function. Who's her reading buddy? Ms. Lancaster. She volunteers every Wednesday. Harper adores her. The world tilted on its axis. "I'm sorry, what? Miss Lancaster. Maya Lancaster. She's been Harper's reading buddy since September." Connor's legs felt weak. He leaned against the wall. Maya, his impossible boss, the Ice Queen who made people cry, was Harper's favorite person. Connor drove to the school in a fog. He couldn't process it. Wouldn't process it. His brain had officially short-circuited. He arrived at Pine Grove Elementary 20 minutes later, still tasting her kiss, still feeling the imprint of her fingers on his shirt. The school librarian, an older woman with kind eyes and reading glasses on a chain, met him at the door. "Mr. Reed, I'm so glad you're here. Harper's fever seems better. She's been reading in the corner." "Where's—" Connor couldn't finish the sentence. "Ms. Lancaster left about 10 minutes ago. She seemed upset. I hope everything's all right." Connor nodded, not trusting himself to speak. He found Harper curled up on a beanbag chair in the reading corner, a worn copy of The Little Prince in her lap. When she saw him, her face lit up. "Daddy!" She ran to him. He scooped her up, holding her tight, feeling her slight fever warmth against his chest. "How are you feeling, sweetie?" "Better, miss. Maya stayed with me until the nurse said my fever was going down. She read to me. Did all the voices." Harper pulled back to look at him. "Dad, do you know Ms. Maya?" Connor's throat tightened. "She's my boss, honey." "Oh." Harper thought about this. "She said she works with people who make pictures and words. Is that you?" "Yeah, that's me." "She's really nice. She understands things." Harper rested her head on his shoulder. "She said her mom left too, when she was my age." Connor's heart clenched. He looked around the library, half expecting to see Maya still there. But she was gone. "Come on, Harper B. Let's get you home." As they walked to the car, Harper holding his hand and chattering about the story Miss Maya had read, Connor's phone buzzed. A text from Maya. "We need to talk." 3 words. 1,000 implications. Connor looked at his daughter, then at his phone, then at the gray Seattle sky threatening more rain. He typed back, "Tomorrow, after the Bergman pitch." Her response came immediately, "Tomorrow." Connor spent the rest of the day trying to work while Harper dozed on the couch. Mrs. Chen had come over with soup and that knowing look that older Chinese women perfected over decades of seeing through everyone's carefully constructed walls. "This boss of yours," she'd said, setting the soup down. "She's the one making you crazy. That's one way to put it. Maybe crazy is good. Maybe you've been too sane for too long." Connor had no response to that. By midnight, he'd finished the Bergman revisions. They were good. Better than good. He'd poured everything into them, the frustration, the confusion, the electricity of that kiss. He sent them to Maya without a message. She responded at 12:15. "These are perfect." Nothing else. Just those 3 words. Connor stared at his phone, at the stopped watch on his wrist, at Harper's drawing on the fridge of the 3 of them at the park last weekend before everything got complicated. He should sleep. Had to sleep. Instead, he sat at the kitchen table and sketched. Maya at her window. Maya's profile in the rain. Maya's face the moment before she kissed him. He didn't stop until the sun came up. The Bergman presentation was at 3 p.m. Connor arrived at the office at 2, exhausted and over-caffeinated. The entire design team watched him walk in like he was a zoo animal. Fascinating and potentially dangerous. Maya was already in the conference room setting up. She wore black, as always. But something was different. Her hair was pulled back looser. Her shoulders weren't quite as rigid. Their eyes met across the room, held for a moment too long. Then she looked away back to her laptop. The presentation went flawlessly. Connor presented the campaign. Maya fielded questions. They moved around each other like dancers who'd rehearsed this choreography for years, never touching, always aware of exactly where the other person was. Michael Bergman leaned back in his chair when they finished. "I have to say, you two work well together. There's a creative synergy here that's electric." Maya's neck flushed slightly. "Mr. Reed is very talented. The way you two play off each other, I'd say there's more than just professional chemistry." Connor jumped in. "We're very committed to the work." "Clearly." Bergman smiled. "We're in. Let's move forward." Handshakes, congratulations. The clients filed out, pleased with themselves for making such a savvy choice. The design team exploded in celebration. Jake and Sarah high-fived. Someone opened sparkling cider. Connor and Maya stood on opposite sides of the conference room, not celebrating, just watching each other. Finally, Maya walked over. "Can we—" She glanced at the team. "My office." Connor followed her. The walk felt like a mile. She closed the door behind them. They stood there suddenly awkward. Two people who'd kissed yesterday worked together today and had no idea what happened now. About yesterday, Maya started. We don't have to. I shouldn't have. Neither should I. They both stopped, almost laughed, almost. Maya took a breath, seemed to steel herself. Harper is a wonderful kid. Connor's expression softened immediately. She talks about you, her library friend. I didn't know you were her father. She never mentioned her last name, and Maya trailed off. There's a lot you don't know about me. I'd like to. Know about you, I mean. Maya's walls were showing cracks. She wanted to say yes, wanted to run, wanted both things at once. Connor, I'm not good at this. At people. Maybe you just haven't found people worth being good for. She looked at him, really looked at him. Saw someone who understood her damage because he carried his own. Saw someone who didn't run when she showed her broken edges. Harper can't know about whatever this is. There is no this. There was a kiss. One kiss. That you can't stop thinking about. Not a question. That you started. You kissed me back. They were closer now. Neither sure how it happened. Maya whispered, We're co-workers. I'm your boss. This is impossible. Connor's hand moved toward her face. Stopped midair. Tell me you don't feel this. Maya's breathing went shallow. She couldn't speak. Couldn't lie. The moment shattered when Jake knocked on the glass door. They sprang apart like teenagers caught by parents. Maya regained her composure instantly. Come in. Jake entered, looking between them. Sorry to interrupt. The Bergman team wants to take us to dinner Friday. Family's welcome. He paused meaningfully. Partners, too. That sounds fine, Maya said, voice perfectly professional. Jake left, but not before giving Connor a look that said, I know something happened. Maya turned back to the window, her safe space, her retreat. Friday, she said. Harper's invited, if you want. Connor's heart jumped. She'd love that. And you. I'd love that too. A small smile from Maya. Victory and terror in equal measure. The week that followed was a study in carefully orchestrated avoidance. Connor and Maya passed in hallways, exchanged pleasantries and meetings, worked on campaigns with impeccable professionalism. But there were moments. Connor reaching for the conference room door at the same time as Maya, their hands touching. Both jerking back like they'd been burned. Maya asking Connor's opinion in a meeting, him answering. Her watching his mouth while he spoke. Late night. Office mostly empty. Connor working in his office. The sound of heels clicking past, stopping, backtracking. Maya in his doorway. You're still here? So are you. Rain outside. Always rain in Seattle. Neither of them said what they wanted to say. Maya disappeared down the hallway. Connor sat in the dark listening to her footsteps fade. Wednesday came. Harper's reading day. Connor dropped her off at school. Saw Maya in the library through the window. Maya saw him. Waved. Small smile. Harper noticed. Dad, you and Miss Maya are friends now. Something like that. You should have coffee together. She looks lonely. Out of the mouths of children. That night, Connor stayed late at the office, intentionally, hoping. At 9:30, he heard her heels. She appeared in his doorway as if summoned. Still here? She asked. Couldn't focus at home. Me neither. She came in, sat in the chair across from his desk, kicked off her heels, let down her hair, became someone softer. They talked until midnight. About Harper, about her reading sessions, about the kids at the library who needed someone to show up for them, about Maya's mother who left without explanation, About Connor's ex-wife who left with too many explanations, none of them good. About being lonely in a city full of people. About building walls so high you forget what it feels like to let someone in. When Maya finally left, Connor sat in the dark for another hour, feeling something shift inside him, something scary and hopeful in equal measure. Friday came, the dinner, the night everything would change again. Connor picked up Harper from school. She wore her favorite dress, spun around in the parking lot. "We're having dinner with Miss Maya and the whole team," Connor reminded her. "But especially Ms. Maya." Fair point. They arrived at the restaurant, upscale but family-friendly. The design team was already there, drinks in hand celebrating the Bergman win. Maya arrived 10 minutes later. She'd changed from her work suit to a black dress, still controlled, still guarded. But her hair was down. That was new. Harper ran to her. "Miss Maya." Maya's whole face transformed. She knelt down to Harper's level. "Hi, Bookworm. You look beautiful." "So, do you." They sat together. Connor on one side of Harper, Maya on the other. Like a family. Almost. The team watched with poorly concealed fascination. Ice Queen Maya letting a child lean against her shoulder. Maya, laughing at Harper's stories. Maya looking at Connor over Harper's head with something soft in her eyes. At one point, Harper went to the bathroom with Sarah. Connor and Maya sat in sudden silence. "Thank you," Connor said quietly, "for including her. She's easy to include. Maya, about us. Not here, not yet." She looked at him, but soon. Under the table where no one could see her hand found his, fingers intertwining for just a moment. Then Harper returned, and the moment passed. But something had been decided, acknowledged. They left the restaurant together, Harper between them, holding both their hands. She swung her arms, making them lift her off the ground. Her laughter bright in the Seattle night. People passing by smiled at them. A family. That's what they looked like. Connor felt something dangerous bloom in his chest. Hope. They reached Maya's car first. Harper hugged her goodbye, long and tight. "See you Wednesday," Harper asked. "Wouldn't miss it." Harper ran ahead to Connor's car. Connor and Maya stood in the parking lot. Rain starting to fall, neither of them reaching for umbrellas. "Connor," then a voice cut through the night. A woman's voice, familiar in a way that made Connor's blood run cold. "Connor," he turned slowly. Couldn't believe what he was seeing. A woman stood 10 feet away, thinner than he remembered, wet from the rain, nervous, terrified. Amanda, his ex-wife, Harper's mother, the woman who'd left 18 months ago and never looked back. "Connor," she said again, "I've been trying to call." The world stopped spinning. Everything he'd been building with Maya, everything fragile and new and hopeful, all of it hung in the balance as his past stepped out of the rain and back into his life. Harper's hand slipped out of Connor's grip. She stood frozen on the sidewalk, staring at the woman who'd walked out of their lives like she was nothing more than a temporary guest who'd overstayed her welcome. "Mom." The word came out small, broken. A question wrapped in hope, wrapped in fear. Maya stepped back instinctively, reading the room, understanding in an instant that she didn't belong in this moment. Her hand, which had been so close to Connor's just seconds ago, fell to her side. Amanda moved forward, hesitant, like approaching a wild animal that might bolt. "Harper B, look how big you've gotten." Harper flinched at the nickname. Her whole body went rigid. She wanted to run to her mother. Connor could see it, could see every fiber of his daughter's being pulled toward the woman who'd given birth to her. But her feet didn't move. Connor's hand landed on Harper's shoulder, protective, grounding. "What are you doing here?" Not a question. A statement flat as stone. Amanda's eyes flicked to him, then to Maya. Understanding dawned on her face. The new woman. The replacement. "I've been trying to call," Amanda said. "I know. I've been ignoring you." "Connor, there's a reason for that." The rain picked up. Cars passed on the street headlights cutting through the dark. Normal people living normal lives. Going home to people who stayed. Amanda looked at Maya properly now, taking in the black dress, the position next to Connor, the way Harper had been holding her hand moments ago. "And you are polite, but with an edge." Maya extended her hand. Professional mask snapping into place so fast Connor almost missed the vulnerability that had been there seconds before. Maya Lancaster, Connor's colleague. Colleague. The word stung. But what else could she say? What else were they? Amanda shook her hand, assessed her, found her wanting or threatening or both. "Of course," she turned back to Connor. "Can we talk? This isn't the time." "Then when you won't return my calls." "There's a reason for that, too." Harper's small voice cut through. "Dad." Connor looked down. His daughter's face, torn between anger and hope, between the safety of what she knew and the desperate wish for what she'd lost. "I'm back in Seattle," Amanda said, addressing all of them now. "I have a job at a gallery in Pioneer Square. I'm stable. I want to see my daughter." "Absolutely not." Harper flinched at his tone. Amanda's jaw tightened. "You can't keep her from me. I'm her mother." "You stopped being her mother when you walked out." "Connor." Maya's voice. Quiet. "Maybe." Connor turned to her. Something sharp in his eyes. "This doesn't concern you." Maya recoiled like he'd slapped her. Her face went blank, the Ice Queen sliding back into place. "Of course, I'll get a cab." "Maya, wait." But she was already walking away, into the rain. No umbrella. Just like always. Disappearing into the Seattle night like smoke. Connor wanted to run after her, wanted to explain. Wanted to take back the words that had come out wrong and harsh and terrified. But Harper was shaking under his hand, and Amanda was standing there waiting for an answer. And he couldn't be in two places at once. He'd spent 18 months being everything for Harper. He couldn't stop now, even if it meant losing Maya. "Not here," he said to Amanda, voice hollow. "Not now. I'll call you." "Promise. Just go." Amanda looked at Harper one more time. "I love you, Harper B. I never stopped loving you." Harper didn't respond. Just pressed closer to Connor's side. Amanda walked away. Got into a car Connor didn't recognize. Drove off into the rain. Father and daughter stood alone on the sidewalk. "Was that really Mom?" Harper's voice was thick with tears. Connor knelt down, pulled her into his arms. "Yeah, sweetie, that was Mom." "Is Miss Maya coming back?" Connor looked at the empty street where Maya had disappeared. Rain falling harder now, washing everything away. "I don't know." Maya burst through her penthouse door like she was being chased. She wasn't, but it felt like she was. Felt like something was hunting her, something she'd been running from her whole life. The apartment was dark, cold, exactly as she'd left it that morning. Minimalist furniture, expensive art. No warmth, no life. She kicked off her heels. They flew across the room, hit the wall, fell to the floor. Stood at the window. Rain. The city stretched below. Lights. Lives. People who knew how to be normal. She pressed her forehead against the glass. Cold seeped through her skin. "I knew better," she whispered to her reflection. "I knew better." The tears came then, Angry tears. At herself, at Connor, at the situation, at every choice that had led her here. She'd let herself hope. That was the mistake. Hope was the crack that let pain in. Her phone buzzed. Connor. She stared at it, let it ring again, go to voicemail. Picked it up, stared at his name on the screen. Her fingers hovered over his contact. Typed, "Are you okay?" Deleted it, typed, "Call me when you can." Deleted it, threw the phone on the couch, went to the kitchen. Put water on to boil. Earl Grey. The ritual that never changed. The constant in a world that kept shifting under her feet. While the water heated, she found herself opening cabinets, looking for something. The coffee maker, the one she'd bought last week. Dark roast, the kind Connor drank. She'd hidden it in the back, like hiding evidence of weakness. She pulled it out now, stared at it, still in the box, unopened. Mocking her with its potential, she shoved it back in the cabinet. Slammed the door, the kettle whistled. She poured water over tea leaves, watched them steep, lifted the cup, set it down without drinking. Went to the mantel. The photo. Young Maya with her father. Mother cropped out, cut away like a tumor. She picked it up, really looked at it for the first time in years, and saw something she'd never noticed before. In the background, barely visible. Her mother's hand on young Maya's shoulder. The photo captured seconds before a moment of love. Before everything fell apart, there had been connection. Maya's hands shook. The frame rattled. She set it down carefully. Walked to her bedroom. Changed into old clothes. Crawled into bed even though it wasn't even 10. Her phone lit up on the nightstand. Text from Connor. "I'm sorry. I'll explain. Please don't give up on us." Us. Like they were something. Like they could be something. Maya stared at the message. Didn't respond. Turned the phone face down. Pulled the covers over her head. Pretended she couldn't feel her heart breaking. Connor sat on his couch at midnight. Harper was finally asleep. It had taken 3 stories, 2 glasses of water, and 40 minutes of holding her while she cried. "Why did Mom leave?" Harper had asked. Again, like she'd asked 100 times before. Connor never had a good answer. "She was sick, sweetie. She needed to get better." "Is she better now?" "I don't know." "Do you want her to come back?" Complicated question. Complicated answer. "I want you to be happy, whatever that looks like." Harper had thought about that. "I think I want to see her, but I'm scared." Me too. Really, you're scared, terrified. That had seemed to help, knowing her father was scared too. That fear was normal, that brave people could shake while they made hard choices. Now Connor sat in the dark, whiskey bottle on the coffee table. Unopened. He didn't drink, never had, but he'd bought it anyway, just to have the option. His phone sat next to the bottle. Maya's text thread open. His message delivered. Read. No response. He picked up his watch from the table. The one that stopped at 3:47. The exact moment his father's heart had given out. Connor had been holding his hand. Had felt the life leave him. Had watched the second hand freeze mid-tick. He'd kept it broken, a memorial, a reminder, a punishment for being the one who survived. Mrs. Chen's words echoed in his head. Your father would be proud of the parent you are, but he'd also tell you you can't do everything alone. Connor opened the back of the watch. Tiny mechanisms inside. Delicate, precise. Broken, but fixable. He got his tools. Sat at the kitchen table. Worked by lamplight. His hands shook at first, then steadied. Years of art training, attention to detail, patience. The mechanism was jammed. Simple fix. He freed it, cleaned it, set it back. The watch started ticking. Time moving forward again. Connor stared at it. Second hand sweeping around the face. 3:47 came and went, kept going. His father was gone. Amanda had left. Maya was pulling away. But time kept moving, whether he was ready or not. He picked up his phone, typed, "Can we talk?" Deleted it, typed, "I'm sorry," deleted it, typed, "I miss you too." His finger hovered over send. Couldn't do it. He set the phone down, watched his fixed watch tick. Listened to Harper breathing in the next room. Tomorrow. He'd figure it out tomorrow. Monday morning came harsh and gray. Connor arrived at the office to find it transformed. The easy camaraderie of Friday night was gone. In its place, tension thick enough to cut, Maya was back to Ice Queen mode. Worse than before. She'd arrived at 5 a.m. according to the security log. Was already in back-to-back meetings. Her door stayed closed. Her assistant fielded all questions. Connor tried to catch her eye in the hallway. She looked through him. Tried to schedule a meeting. Her assistant said she was booked solid for 2 weeks. Left a note on her desk. It disappeared. No response. By Wednesday, he was desperate. Harper's reading day. He dropped her off early. Waited in the parking lot. Watched the library entrance. Maya never showed. A different volunteer arrived instead. Older woman, kind smile. Not Maya. Harper's face when she came out of the library broke his heart. Where was Ms. Maya? She had to work, sweetie. But she always comes on Wednesday, she promised. On promises. What were they worth when they came from people who left Connor, drove Harper home in silence, watched her go to her room, closed the door, heard crying she thought he couldn't hear. He texted Maya. Harper asked about you. No response. He tried calling, voicemail, left a message. I know I hurt you, I'm sorry, but Harper doesn't understand why you're gone. She thinks she did something wrong. Please, just text her, let her know you're okay. The message was marked as read. No response came. Tuesday. Connor's phone rang at work. Unknown number. This time he answered. Amanda's lawyer. His stomach dropped before the woman even spoke. Mr. Reed. This is Patricia Chambers. I represent Amanda Reed in a family matter. We're filing for modification of custody arrangements. You should expect formal notice within the week. Connor's hand tightened on the phone. She abandoned her daughter for 18 months. Ms. Reed was suffering from severe postpartum depression. She's been in treatment. She's stable now. She has every right to see her child. She has no rights. She gave them up when she left. That's for the court to decide. You'll be hearing from us. The line went dead. Connor sat at his desk. Stared at nothing. The walls closing in. He needed help. Character witnesses. People who knew Harper. Who could speak to her stability. Her happiness. Mrs. Chen, Harper's teacher. Maya. He picked up his phone. Stared at her contact. The messages he'd sent. All marked read, all ignored. He called anyway. Voicemail again. Maya, it's me. I know I don't have the right to ask, but Amanda's taking me to court for custody. I need character witnesses, people who know Harper, who can speak to her stability. I know you care about her. If you could just think about it. He hung up, waited, hoped. Hours passed. No response. That night, lying in bed, unable to sleep, his phone finally buzzed. Text from Maya. I heard about the hearing. I'm here if you need me. 6 words. Not a commitment, not a promise. Just acknowledgement that she'd heard. That she existed. That maybe somewhere under all that armor she still cared. Connor typed back, thank you. The message showed as delivered, read. But no response came. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of lawyers and paperwork. and trying to explain to Harper why Mommy wanted to see her, and why that was complicated, and why everyone seemed so sad all the time. Amanda came by the apartment. Supervised visit. Mrs. Chen stayed as a buffer. It was awkward, painful. Harper cautious but curious. Amanda trying too hard. Connor watching from the kitchen, unable to relax, waiting for the moment it all fell apart. But it didn't fall apart. Amanda brought Harper's favorite book, The Little Prince. They read it together on the couch. Amanda doing voices, Harper laughing despite herself. When Amanda left, Harper cried, but not the way Connor expected. "She remembered my favorite book," Harper said through tears. She remembered. At work, Maya was a ghost. Connor would see her through glass walls, perfect posture, perfect suits, perfect mask. But when she thought no one was watching, her hand would press against windows. Her shoulders would drop. Her face would crack into something that looked like grief. He wanted to go to her, wanted to explain, wanted to make it right. But he had to protect Harper first, had to focus on the custody battle, had to keep his daughter from drowning while he was drowning himself. Jake cornered him in the break room one day. "What happened with you and Maya?" "Nothing." "Bullshit. She's worse than ever. And you look like you haven't slept in weeks. It's complicated. It's always complicated. That's not an excuse." Connor poured coffee he wouldn't drink. "Her ex-wife showed up. Things got messy. So you pushed Maya away." "I had to protect Harper." "And Maya, who protects her?" Connor had no answer to that. The custody hearing arrived like an execution date. Gray, Tuesday morning. Rain falling in sheets. Of course, rain. Always rain. Connor wore his best suit. His lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia Chang, met him at the courthouse. "Remember," she said, "be honest but measured. Don't let them paint you as vindictive. You're protecting your daughter, not punishing your ex-wife." Connor nodded. Felt like he might vomit. Inside the courtroom, Amanda sat across the aisle with her own lawyer. She looked healthy, put together, hairstyled, makeup perfect. Like she'd never fallen apart. Like the last 18 months were a bad dream they could all forget. Connor's hands clenched into fists. The judge entered. Everyone rose. The proceedings began. Amanda's lawyer went first. Presented documentation. Therapy records from 18 months of treatment. Psychiatrist statements. Medication logs. New job offer letter. Lease agreement for apartment. Character witnesses for Amanda. Her therapist. Professional clinical convincing. Her new employer. Glowing recommendation. Her old college roommate. Testified that Amanda had always been a loving mother before the depression hit. It was effective, strategic, designed to show a woman who'd been sick but was better now, who deserved a second chance at motherhood. Connor watched the judge's face, couldn't read it. His turn came. Patricia presented Harper's school records. Excellent grades. No behavioral issues. Therapy notes from Harper's counselor. Stable, well-adjusted child thriving in her current environment. Mrs. Chen testified. Spoke about Connor's devotion. The sacrifices he made. The parent-teacher conferences he never missed. The way Harper lit up when he picked her up from school. Harper's teacher testified. Same story. Good student, happy child, father who showed up. But something was missing. Connor felt it. Patricia felt it. The judge definitely felt it. A hole in the testimony where another voice should have been. Someone who saw Harper weekly, who read to her, who understood her in ways even Connor didn't fully grasp. Maya. Her empty chair at the back of the courtroom spoke volumes. The judge asked questions. "Mr. Reed, do you oppose all visitation rights for the mother?" Patricia whispered to him. Say, supervised only. Don't look like you're being vindictive. Connor leaned toward the microphone. Supervised visitation only, Your Honor. Miss Reed hasn't earned trust yet. She needs to prove she can be consistent. Ms. Reed, why should this court grant you visitation after 18 months of minimal contact? Amanda stood, tears streaming down her face. Real tears, Connor could tell. Your Honor, I was sick. I had postpartum depression that went undiagnosed for years. Every day felt like drowning. Like the walls were closing in. I wasn't abandoning my daughter. I was trying to survive. Her voice cracked. I got help. Real help. I'm on medication that works. I'm in therapy. I have a support system now. I'm not asking for full custody. I'm just asking for a chance to be her mother again. It was good, too good. The judge's expression softened. Connor felt the ground shifting under him. The gavel came down. I'm granting Ms. Reed supervised visitation rights. 2 afternoons per week. Supervised by Mr. Reed or another approved adult. We'll review the arrangement in 3 months. Amanda collapsed into her chair, crying with relief. Connor felt like he'd been punched in the gut. Patricia squeezed his arm. This is okay. It's not full custody. You still have primary placement. But it didn't feel okay. It felt like losing. Outside the courthouse, rain poured down in biblical proportions. Connor stood on the steps getting soaked, unable to move. His phone buzzed. Maya. For a moment, hope flared. Her voicemail. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I'm thinking about you and Harper. I'm sorry for making this about me when you needed support. I miss you. Both of you. But I understand if you don't want the message cut off. 30-second limit. Connor closed his eyes, rain mixing with tears he didn't realize he was crying. Behind him, Amanda exited the courthouse, saw him standing there, approached carefully. Connor, thank you for not fighting me completely. He didn't turn around. I'm not doing this for you. I know I don't deserve her forgiveness. Connor finally turned, eyes blazing despite the rain washing over his face. You don't. You don't deserve her forgiveness, her love, her trust, but she wants to give them to you anyway, because she's a better person than both of us combined. His voice dropped dangerously low. If you hurt her again, if you leave again, I will spend every resource I have making sure you never see her again. Are we clear? Amanda nodded, soaked, scared, but determined. First visit is Saturday, 2 p.m. Don't be late. Connor walked away, into the rain alone. That night, Harper was already asleep when Connor got home. Mrs. Chen had picked her up from school, fed her dinner, put her to bed. How did it go? Mrs. Chen asked. She gets supervised visits 2 days a week. Mrs. Chen nodded. And how do you feel about that? Like I lost. You didn't lose your daughter. You're sharing her. There's a difference. Connor wasn't sure he agreed. After Mrs. Chen left, he sat on the couch. Whiskey bottle still on the table, still unopened. He picked it up, looked at it, set it down again, picked up his watch instead, the one that was ticking now, moving forward. 3:47 came and went again. His phone sat next to him. Maya's voicemail still saved. He'd listened to it 7 times. He picked up the phone, looked at her contact, all the messages, the ones he'd sent, the ones she'd read but not answered. Typed, "Can we talk?" Deleted it. Typed, "I'm sorry." Deleted it, typed, "I miss you too." His finger hovered over send, paralyzed, terrified, of choosing wrong, of losing more than he'd already lost. In Harper's room, he heard movement. Went to check on her. She was sitting up in bed, clutching a drawing. 3 figures. Connor, Harper, and Maya. My family. Written at the top in careful letters. Dad? He sat on the edge of her bed. Yeah, sweetie. I miss Miss Maya. Me too. Then why don't you call her? It's complicated. Harper sighed. The infinite patience of a child who'd been forced to grow up too fast. You always say that. She wasn't wrong. Do you want to see Mom on Saturday? He asked, changing the subject. Harper thought about it, really thought. I'm scared she'll leave again, but I want to try, because what if she doesn't, wisdom beyond her years, again? And Ms. Maya, Harper continued, I'm scared if you push her away, she'll never come back. But Dad, what if she does? Connor's throat tightened. When did you get so smart? I had to. My parents kept leaving. The words hit like bullets. Straight through his chest. Because she was right. Amanda had left physically, but Connor had been leaving too. Emotionally, shutting down, building walls, protecting himself at the expense of connection. Just like Maya. I will never leave you, Connor said fiercely. Never. You understand. I know. Harper hugged him. But you're allowed to let people in too. Miss Maya said being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you're scared and you do it anyway. Connor held his daughter. This small person who understood more about love and risk than he did. After she fell back asleep, he went to the kitchen, sat at the table, picked up his phone one more time, opened Maya's contact, typed, I miss you too. This time he pressed send. The message delivered. Read almost immediately. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, I miss you too. 3 words. A lifetime of meaning. Connor's hands shook as he typed, come over. Long pause. Then, it's almost midnight. I don't care, please. Another pause, longer this time. Finally, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Connor stood up, looked around the apartment. Mess everywhere. He didn't care. Started to clean anyway, then stopped. She'd seen him at his worst. His broken pieces, his messy life. Maybe it was time to stop pretending to have it all together. 23 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Connor opened it. Maya stood there, drenched from rain, hair plastered to her face, no makeup, mascara smudged, t-shirt and jeans, the most vulnerable he'd ever seen her. Beautiful. They stared at each other, words failing, hearts speaking. Then Maya stepped forward, walked into his arms, collapsed against his chest like she'd been holding herself together for weeks and finally had permission to break. Connor held her, buried his face in her wet hair, felt her shaking. I'm sorry, they both said at the same time. Then they were laughing, crying, holding each other in his doorway while rain poured outside and time ticked forward, and everything that had been broken started slowly stitching itself back together. Not fixed, not healed, but trying, finally trying. They stood in the doorway for a long time, neither speaking, just holding each other while the storm raged outside and something quieter settled between them. Finally, Maya pulled back enough to look at him. Her eyes were red. Her face was bare. She'd never looked more real. I can't promise I won't freak out again, she whispered. I can't promise I won't get scared and pull away. I'm bad at this, at people. So am I. The admission hung in the air. 2 damaged people acknowledging their damage, not running from it, not hiding it, just seeing it clearly and choosing to try anyway. Maya touched his face. Her fingers cold from the rain, Why are we doing this? Connor caught her hand, held it against his cheek. Because Harper drew a picture of the three of us, wrote "My family" at the top. Maya's breath caught. Tears threatened again. Connor, I can't replace her mother. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to be you, the person who reads to her, who understands her, who shows up. He paused. The person who shows up for both of us. What about Amanda? Amanda gets supervised visits. She gets to try to rebuild trust. His jaw tightened. But you already have Harper's trust, and mine because you earned it, by being present, even when it was hard. Maya closed her eyes. I'm terrified I'll destroy this. Join the club. I'm terrified every single day. How do you live with the fear? Connor pulled her closer. I look at Harper, and I remember that the fear of losing her is nothing compared to the privilege of loving her. Maya understood the math of it. Risk versus reward. Pain versus connection. Loneliness versus love. She kissed him, soft and sure. Not desperate like the first time, not confused like the second, but certain. A choice made with eyes wide open. I love you, she said against his lips. I'm completely terrified, but I love you. I love you too. They kissed again. Thunder rolled outside, but it sounded different now. Not threatening, just weather. Just the world continuing while they figured out how to be brave. Connor pulled her inside, closed the door. They stood in his small living room, toys on the floor, dishes in the sink, Harper's drawings covering the fridge, real life in all its messy glory. Maya looked around, took it in, the opposite of her minimalist penthouse. It's chaotic, Connor said, suddenly self-conscious. It's beautiful. She meant it. It's alive. They moved to the couch, sat close, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her, the simplest thing, the hardest thing. Tell me about the hearing, Maya said quietly. So he did. Every painful detail. Amanda's testimony, the judge's decision, the feeling of losing even when he'd technically won. Maya listened, didn't interrupt, just held his hand and let him talk. I'm sorry I wasn't there, she said when he finished. I'm sorry I pushed you away. We're a mess. Yeah, we really are. They sat in comfortable silence. Rain on the windows. The apartment's heater clicking on, time passing. Saturday is the first visit, Connor said. Amanda's coming at 2. Do you want me to disappear? Make it easier. No. He turned to face her. No more disappearing. No more running. We face this together. Even though it's complicated. Especially because it's complicated. Maya searched his face. Found no hesitation there. Okay, together. They talked until 2 in the morning. About Amanda, about Harper, about fear and hope and how to build something real when everything felt fragile. About Maya's mother. The abandonment that shaped her. The walls she'd built that were finally coming down. About Connor's father. The stopped watch. The way grief could freeze you in time if you let it. About learning to live in the present instead of the past. When Maya finally left, she kissed him at the door. I'll see you in the morning. I'll bring coffee to your office. I'll actually drink it this time. Small smile. Shared understanding. Progress. Connor watched her drive away, then went to check on Harper. She was sprawled across her bed, one arm hanging off the edge, peaceful in sleep. He tucked her in, kissed her forehead, whispered, "We're going to be okay." He almost believed it. Morning came soft and gray. Connor arrived at the office at 7, carrying 2 coffees and a bag of croissants from the bakery Maya liked but never had time to visit. Her office door was open. She was at her desk, hair already pulled back, working. He knocked. She looked up. Her whole face transformed when she saw him. "You brought breakfast." "I promised coffee." "You brought food, too." "You never eat lunch. Figured I'd start with breakfast." Maya stood, walked around her desk, took the coffee from him. Their fingers brushed. Electricity. "Thank you." They ate together in her office, talking about the Bergman campaign, about the new pitch coming up, about work things that felt normal and safe. But underneath there was something else, a current running between them, stronger now, more certain. Jake walked past, did a double take, kept walking. Connor heard him whisper to Sarah. They're having breakfast together, in her office, with the door closed. "Good for them," Sarah whispered back. Maya heard too, raised an eyebrow. "They're going to talk." "Let them." "It's unprofessional." "We're adults, we work together. We're also together." "That's allowed." Maya considered this. Years of keeping work and life separate. But maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe the separation was another wall, another way to stay safe and alone. "Okay," she said, "let them talk." Connor smiled. Progress. Wednesday came. Harper's reading day. Connor drove her to school. She was nervous, excited, scared Maya wouldn't show. "What if she doesn't come?" Harper asked. "She'll come." "But she didn't come last week." "I know, but she will this week, I promise." Connor hated making promises he couldn't control, but Maya had texted that morning. "I'll be there at 2:30. Tell Harper I missed her." They pulled up to the school. Harper hesitated at the car door. "Dad, is Ms. Maya your girlfriend now?" Connor thought about how to answer. Settled on truth. "Yeah, she is. Is that okay with you?" Harper thought about it. Really thought. "Will she leave like Mom did?" "I don't think so. But Harper, I can't promise that. People are complicated. They make choices we don't always understand. But I can promise that we'll get through whatever happens. Together." Harper nodded, seemed satisfied. "Okay, I like her. She gets me." "She gets me too." "Good. You need someone who gets you." Harper climbed out of the car, then leaned back in. "Dad, I'm going to see Mom on Saturday." "I know. Are you okay with that?" Connor's heart broke a little. His 9-year-old daughter worried about him. The roles reversed. The child comforting the parent. "I'm okay. I want you to have a relationship with your mom if that's what you want. Even though it's hard. Especially because it's hard." Harper hugged him through the car window. "You're brave, Dad." "So, are you Harper B?" She ran into school. Connor watched her go, then texted Maya. "Harper's excited to see you. Thank you for showing up." Her response came immediately. Always. That evening, Connor called Amanda. She answered on the first ring. "Connor, we need to talk before Saturday." Silence. Then, "Okay, when?" "Tomorrow, 1:30. There's a coffee shop on Pine Street, Ruby's." "I know it." "And Amanda Maya will be there." Long pause. "Your girlfriend." "My partner. She's part of Harper's life. That's not negotiable." "Okay." Amanda's voice was careful. "I understand." Connor wasn't sure she did, but they'd find out tomorrow. Ruby's coffee shop was warm and crowded at 1:30 on a Thursday. Connor and Maya arrived first, found a table in the back, away from the crowd but not isolated. Maya was nervous. He could tell by the way she smoothed her hair, straightened her already straight collar, pressed her hands flat on the table. "You don't have to do this," Connor said. "Yes, I do." She met his eyes. We're in this together, remember, together. He took her hand on the table. Public declaration. This is who we are. This is what we choose. Amanda walked in at 1:35. Saw them. Hesitated. Then squared her shoulders and walked over. She looked different than the last time. More put together. Hair styled. Makeup done. Wearing a simple dress and cardigan. Trying to look like a responsible adult. Like a mother. Connor and Maya stood. Handshakes, awkward hellos. They sat. Coffee ordered. Silence stretched. Finally, Amanda spoke. "Thank you for meeting me. This needed to happen," Connor said. "Before Saturday." "I know." Amanda looked at Maya. Really looked. "I'm not here to make things difficult. I just want to see my daughter." Maya's response was measured. Professional. "Then we want the same thing." "Do we?" Harper's happiness. Her stability. Her emotional well-being. Maya leaned forward slightly. "I'm not trying to replace you. I'm just someone who cares about her. Someone who's been there while I wasn't." "Yes." The honesty was startling. No softening. No politeness. Just truth. Amanda's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry for leaving. For missing so much time. For all of it." Connor's jaw tightened. "Harper's the one you need to apologize to." "I know. I will. I am." "Words are cheap, Amanda. Harper's heard a lot of words. What she needs is consistency. Showing up, being present. Can you do that?" "I'm trying." "Trying isn't enough." Maya touched Connor's arm. Gentle. Grounding. He took a breath. "Why did you leave?" Maya asked. The question Connor couldn't ask. "Really, why did you go?" Amanda looked at her hands. "I had postpartum depression, severe. It wasn't baby blues or adjustment. It was drowning. Every day. Every moment. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't be the mother Harper needed." "Why didn't you get help?" Connor's voice was hard. "I tried, but I felt like I was failing, as a mother, as a wife." The shame of it. She shook her head. "I thought if I left, you'd be better off. Harper would be better off. I thought I was doing the right thing. You were wrong. I know that now. I know what I did to Harper, to you." Amanda wiped her eyes. "I've been in therapy for 18 months. I'm on medication. I have a support system. I'm not the person who left." Maya spoke quietly. "I understand that. The shame. The feeling of not being enough." Amanda looked at her with surprise. With recognition. "My mother left when I was 9, Maya continued. "I spent my whole life thinking it was my fault, that I wasn't enough to make her stay. I understand what that does to a child. Then you understand why I need to try, why I need Harper to know I didn't stop loving her." "I do, but you need to understand something too." Maya's voice was gentle but firm. "Trust isn't given. It's earned. You broke Harper's trust. Now you have to rebuild it, piece by piece, visit by visit. That takes time. Consistency. You don't get to rush that timeline." Amanda nodded. "I won't, I promise." Connor leaned forward. "Here's what's going to happen. Saturday at 2. You come to my apartment, supervised visit, 2 hours. Mrs. Chen will be there. You don't cancel. You don't make promises you can't keep. You show up or you don't come back. I'll show up. For how long? A month, 2 months, until it gets hard again. For as long as Harper wants me there." Maya spoke again. "Harper needs to know where she stands with everyone. Clear roles. Clear boundaries. You're her mother, that doesn't change, but you're not her primary parent." Connor is. I'm someone who cares about her. We all need to respect those roles. Amanda looked at Maya, then at Connor. You're lucky to have found each other, to have someone who understands. We are, Connor said. No hesitation. They talked for another hour, about logistics, about Harper's routine, about what she liked now, what she was afraid of, what she needed. Amanda listened, took notes, asked questions, seemed genuinely interested in who her daughter had become in 18 months. By the time they left, something had shifted. Not trust, not forgiveness, but understanding, a tentative agreement to try. Outside the coffee shop, Amanda turned to them. I meant what I said. I'm not trying to disrupt what you've built. I'm just trying to be present. Then be present, Maya said. That's all any of us can do. Amanda walked to her car. Connor and Maya stood on the sidewalk watching her go. That was hard, Maya said. Yeah. But necessary. Yeah. Connor pulled her close, kissed the top of her head. Thank you for being there, for saying what I couldn't. That's what partners do. Partners. The word settled warm in his chest. They went back to work. But something felt lighter, like a weight had been shared instead of carried alone. Saturday at 2, Amanda knocked on Connor's door. He opened it. She stood there holding flowers, looking nervous. For Harper, she said. Connor stepped aside. Let her in. Harper was on the couch, drawing. She looked up, saw her mother, froze. Hi, Harper B. Harper didn't run, didn't hide, just watched carefully. Amanda knelt down, eye level. I brought you flowers, your favorite, yellow roses. Harper stood, walked slowly over, took the flowers, smelled them. Thank you. Not Mom. Not Mommy, just thank you. Amanda's face fell slightly, but she recovered. Can I see what you're drawing? Harper showed her. A picture of the solar system, planets and stars, a small figure standing on the moon looking down at Earth. This is beautiful. You're so talented. Dad taught me how to shade. Miss Maya taught me about constellations. Ms. Maya, Connor's girlfriend. Harper nodded. She's nice. She understands things. I'm glad you have her. Unexpected response. Harper seemed to relax slightly. Mrs. Chen appeared from the kitchen. I made tea. Would you like some? The afternoon passed slowly. Awkward moments and careful conversations. Harper showing Amanda her room, her books, her new drawings. Amanda looking at everything like she was memorizing it, like she was trying to catch up on 18 months in 2 hours. At 4, Connor said it was time. Amanda hugged Harper. Harper let her, didn't pull away immediately. Can I come back next week? Amanda asked. Harper looked at Connor. He nodded. If you want to. Okay. After Amanda left, Harper went to her room. Connor gave her space, let her process. An hour later, she emerged. Dad? Yes, sweetie. That wasn't as bad as I thought. No. She tried, really tried. She did. I'm still mad at her. That's okay. But maybe I can be mad and still see her. Yeah, you can be both things at once. Harper nodded, seemed satisfied. Went back to her room. Connor texted Maya. First visit done. It was okay. Her response, proud of all of you. Dinner tomorrow. My place I'll cook. Connor smiled. You cook. I'm learning. For you. His heart expanded. We'd love that. Sunday evening, Connor and Harper showed up at Maya's penthouse with flowers and wine and a sense of adventure. Maya opened the door in jeans and a sweater. Hair down. Barefoot. The most casual Connor had ever seen her. You're here, Harper ran in. looked around with wide eyes. Wow, it's so clean. Maya laughed. Too clean. Kind of, but pretty. The apartment was still minimalist, but there were changes. Small ones. A plant on the windowsill. Photos on the mantel. One of Harper at the library. One of Connor laughing at something off camera. One of the three of them at dinner. Harper saw them, beamed. You kept pictures of us. Of course I did. You're my favorite people. Connor watched the two of them. His daughter, his partner. Moving around the kitchen together. Maya teaching Harper how to make pasta. Harper teaching Maya the words to some pop song Connor didn't know. This was what family looked like. Dinner was slightly burnt, but delicious. They ate at Maya's dining table. Talked about everything and nothing. Harper told Maya about the visit with Amanda. How was it? Maya asked gently. Weird, but okay weird. Okay weird is good. She remembered my favorite flower. That's important. But she missed a lot, and I'm still mad. Maya reached across the table, took Harper's small hand. You're allowed to be mad and still give her a chance. Both things can be true. Harper squeezed her hand. That's what Dad said. Your dad's smart. Connor raised his glass. I have my moments. After dinner, they moved to the couch. Harper between them. They watched a movie Harper picked, some animated thing about feelings. Harper fell asleep halfway through. Maya and Connor sat there. Harper's head on Maya's lap. Connor's arm around Maya's shoulders. This is nice, Maya whispered. Yeah, it really is. Connor, yeah, thank you for not giving up on me. He kissed her temple. Thank you for not giving up on yourself. They sat in comfortable silence, the city lights twinkling below, time ticking forward on both their watches, two broken people learning how to be whole together. Not perfect, not healed, but trying, finally trying. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm. Amanda's visits on Saturdays and Wednesdays. Supervised, cautious, but consistent. Harper slowly opening up, still guarded, still hurt, but willing to try. Connor and Maya navigating their relationship. At work and at home, learning each other. Fighting sometimes, making up always. Maya reading to Harper every Wednesday at the library. The three of them having dinner twice a week. Building something that looked like family. One Saturday, after Amanda's visit, Harper asked Connor something unexpected. Dad, can Mom come to dinner with us sometime with you and Maya? Connor's stomach dropped. You want all of us together. Is that weird? It's definitely weird. But maybe good weird. Connor thought about it. About Maya, about Amanda, about Harper caught in the middle trying to love all the adults in her life. Let me talk to Maya. That night he broached the subject. Maya's immediate response was panic. Dinner. The four of us, that's weird, I know. Really weird. But Harper asked, and I think she needs to see us all trying, together. Maya paced her apartment, hands in her hair. I don't know if I can do that. You face down corporate raiders and billion-dollar clients. You can handle dinner with my ex-wife. That's different. How? Because I didn't care about them. She stopped pacing, looked at him. I care about this. About us. About Harper. What if I mess it up? Connor pulled her close. Then we'll mess it up together. But we'll try for Harper. Maya buried her face in his chest. Okay, for Harper. They set it up for the following Saturday. Casual restaurant, family-friendly, neutral territory. Amanda agreed immediately. Sounded surprised, grateful. The day arrived. Connor was a nervous wreck. Maya was perfectly composed, but he saw her hand shaking when she thought he wasn't looking. They picked up Harper, drove to the restaurant, waited. Amanda arrived exactly on time. Nervous energy, careful smile. They sat, ordered. Awkwardness thick enough to cut. Then Harper started talking. About school, about her drawings, about the book she was reading. And slowly the adults relaxed. Found common ground. All of them loved Harper. All of them wanted her happy. Amanda asked Maya about her work. Maya asked Amanda about the gallery. Connor watched them trying, really trying. At one point, Harper excused herself to the bathroom. The three adults sat in sudden silence. Amanda spoke first. "Thank you for including me. I know this is weird. It's very weird," Maya agreed. "But Harper needs to see us all being civil, being adults. She's lucky to have you, both of you." Amanda looked at Connor. "I mean that." Connor nodded. Didn't trust himself to speak. When Harper returned, she was smiling, really smiling, the kind of smile that lit up her whole face. "This is good," she said. "All of us together. It's different, but good." Connor felt something tight in his chest loosen. His daughter, caught between three adults, making it work through sheer force of will and hope. After dinner, they walked Harper to the car. Amanda hugged her goodbye. "Same time next week?" Amanda asked. "Okay." Amanda looked at Connor and Maya. "Thank you. Really." She left. Harper climbed in the back seat. Connor and Maya stood in the parking lot. "We did it," Maya said. "We survived. More than survived, we actually did okay." Connor pulled her close, kissed her. Right there in the parking lot. Not caring who saw. "I love you," he said. "I love you too." Harper's voice from the car. "Are you guys going to kiss all night, or can we go home?" They laughed, got in the car, drove home through Seattle streets. Rain starting to fall. But gentle rain. Soft rain. The kind that washed things clean instead of drowning them. At home, Harper went straight to bed, exhausted from emotion, from trying, from hope. Connor and Maya sat on the couch, close together, his arm around her, her head on his shoulder. Connor, "Yeah, I think we're going to be okay." He kissed the top of her head, looked at his watch. Still ticking. Time moving forward. "Yeah, I think we are." 6 months later, Apex Creative's conference room buzzed with energy. The Henderson campaign had won 3 industry awards. Revenue was up 40%. The team had grown by 8 people, and for the first time in the company's history, employees were smiling. Maya stood at the front of the room addressing the celebration, but she looked different now. Hair loose around her shoulders. Black dress, yes, but softer somehow. A lightness in her posture that hadn't been there before. Connor sat in the front row watching her, still amazed that this woman was his. "When I started this company," Maya said, "I thought success meant sacrifice, giving up everything personal for the professional, building walls instead of relationships." Her eyes found Connor's, held. "I was wrong. Success isn't what you sacrifice. It's what you make room for. The people who challenge you, support you, show you that being vulnerable isn't weakness. It's the only way to truly connect." She gestured to Connor. "Come up here." He stood confused, walked to the front. She handed him an envelope. "Open it." Inside was a sketch. His sketch. The one he'd drawn months ago of the 3 of them as a constellation. Maya, Connor, and Harper, connected by lines of light, but she'd had it professionally framed, museum quality. "You drew this the night after our first kiss," Maya said. "When everything was falling apart and you didn't know if we'd make it. But you drew us anyway, as something permanent, something written in the stars. Connor's throat tightened. That's what you gave me, Maya continued. Hope. When I'd forgotten what it looked like. Thank you. The office erupted in applause, Jake wiping his eyes, Sarah grinning, the whole team celebrating not just the awards but the transformation they'd witnessed. After the party wound down, Maya pulled Connor into her office, closed the door. I have something for you, too. She handed him a small box. He opened it. Inside, a watch repair kit, engraved with coordinates. He recognized them immediately. Pike Place Market, where they'd first become a family, where Amanda had appeared, where everything had almost ended. For when time needs fixing again, Maya said softly. Connor set the box down carefully, pulled her close, kissed her like they weren't in her office, like the whole team wasn't still celebrating outside, like time had stopped again just for them. Marry me, he said against her lips. Maya pulled back, eyes wide. What? Marry me. I don't have a ring. I didn't plan this, but I'm asking anyway, marry me. Connor, I know it's fast, I know it's complicated. I know we're still figuring things out, but I also know I want to figure it out with you. Forever. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I'm terrified. Me too. What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't be what Harper needs? You already are. You show up, you listen, you love her. That's everything. Maya kissed him, soft and certain. Ask me again. Properly. With Harper. Deal. Saturday afternoon. Pike Place Market teemed with people. Tourists and locals mixing in the eternal dance of commerce and culture. Fish flying through the air. Flower vendors calling out prices. The smell of fresh bread and salt water. Connor. Maya and Harper walked hand in hand. Harper in the middle, swinging between them, laughing at the flying fish, pointing at flowers, pure joy in motion. They'd come here every Saturday for the past month, building new memories in the place where old ones had almost destroyed them. Connor stopped at a flower stand. The vendor recognized them now, smiled. The usual, actually, Connor said, something special today. He bought a large bouquet, yellow roses for Harper, white roses for Maya, mixed them together, handed half to each of them. What are these for? Harper asked. Maya watched Connor carefully, sensing something. There's always a reason, Connor said. He knelt down to Harper's level. Harper B. I need to ask you something important. Harper's eyes went wide. Okay. Is it okay if I ask Maya to marry us? Harper threw her arms around him. Yes, 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 yes. Connor stood, faced Maya, pulled a small box from his pocket. The market continued around them, people shopping, living, moving. But in that moment, they were frozen. Maya Lancaster, Connor said, his voice shaking slightly. I'm not asking you to replace Harper's mother. Amanda is working hard at being present. I'm asking you to be our family, our constant, our North Star. Maya's hands covered her mouth, tears streaming. Will you marry me? She nodded. Couldn't speak, just nodded frantically while crying and laughing at the same time. Connor slid the ring on her finger. Simple, elegant, perfect. They kissed while Harper hugged both their legs and random tourists applauded and the fish vendors cheered and life continued all around them. Thunder rumbled overhead. Dark clouds rolling in. The first drops of rain began to fall. None of them reached for umbrellas. They stood there letting it wash over them, the rain that had been a barrier between them for so long. Now a blessing, a baptism into something new. Harper looked up at the sky, rain on her face. This is perfect. Maya squeezed her hand. It really is. Connor pulled them both close. His family, not traditional, not simple, but real and whole. 6 months after the proposal, Connor stood in his apartment. Except it wasn't just his apartment anymore. Moving boxes lined the walls. Maya's minimalist furniture mixed with his comfortable chaos, her art meeting his practicality, 2 lives merging into one. In Harper's room, new drawings covered the walls. The most prominent one showed 4 figures holding hands: Connor, Maya, Harper, and Amanda. My family, written at the top. All of them present. All of them trying. In the kitchen, the coffee maker sat next to the tea kettle. Both used daily. His dark roast, her Earl Grey, side by side. The living room mantel held 3 photos now. The Pike Place proposal, all of them laughing in the rain. Young Maya with her father. But this time the crop was different. Showed the edge of her mother's face, the hand on young Maya's shoulder. Not erased, just part of the story. The 3 of them at the library. Maya reading, Harper and Connor listening, caught in a moment of pure contentment. Connor checked his watch, the one that ticked now, steady and sure, then checked Maya's watch on the counter. They matched, both showing 7:15. Time moving forward together. The door opened. Maya walked in carrying groceries, Harper behind her with her backpack. "We stopped at the store," Maya called. Harper insisted we needed ingredients for cookies. "It's Wednesday," Harper explained, as if that justified everything. Connor smiled. Wednesday had become cookie night, their tradition, built from nothing but intention and repetition. "How was the visit?" he asked. Harper had spent the afternoon with Amanda at the gallery. Regular visits now, scheduled, consistent. Amanda showing up, proving herself, week after week, month after month. "Good, Mom's getting better at the art stuff. She showed me how to mix colors." Mom, not Amanda, not her mother, just Mom, simple and profound. "That's great, sweetie." Harper went to her room to change. Maya moved to Connor, kissed him, soft and familiar. "How was your day?" she asked. "Long. Missed you. Missed you too." They moved through the evening like a choreographed dance. Connor starting dinner while Maya helped Harper with homework. Harper setting the table while Connor and Maya worked side by side. The 3 of them eating together. Talking about their days. Making plans for the weekend. Normal. Beautifully, wonderfully normal. After dinner, Harper asked the question she asked every night. Story time. They piled onto the couch, Harper between them. Maya picked up the worn copy of The Little Prince, the one from the library, the one she'd read to Harper 100 times. She opened to Harper's favorite passage. Read aloud in the voice Harper loved. "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." Harper snuggled closer. "What does that mean?" Maya looked at Connor over Harper's head. "It means love isn't something you can see or measure. It's something you feel, something you build, day by day, choice by choice." "Like us?" Harper asked. "Exactly like us." Connor wrapped his arm around both of them, his 2 favorite people, the family he'd built from broken pieces. Harper continued. "And the other part, about the rose." Maya flipped pages, found it. "It is the time you have wasted for your rose that makes your rose so important." "What does that mean?" "It means," Connor said, "that love takes time. And that's okay. The time we spend caring for someone, showing up for them, that's what makes them matter. Harper thought about this. Like how you spent time fixing your watch, and Maya spent time learning to cook, and Mom spent time getting better. Exactly like that. And how we spend Wednesday nights reading together. Maya kissed the top of her head. You're very wise, Harper B. I learned from my family. The words settled warm in the room. My family. Plural. Complicated. Perfect in its imperfection. Harper fell asleep before the story ended. Connor carried her to bed, tucked her in, stood in the doorway, watching her breathe. Maya appeared beside him, slipped her hand into his. She's happy, Maya whispered. She is. We did that, all of us, together. Connor pulled her close, led her back to the living room. They sat on the couch, the city lights twinkling through the window. Rain starting to fall, gentle Seattle rain, the kind that felt like home. Connor, yeah, thank you. For what? For not giving up on me, when I was convinced I wasn't worth the effort. He kissed her forehead. Thank you for not giving up on yourself, for being brave enough to let us in. They sat in comfortable silence, 2 watches ticking in harmony, 2 cups on the coffee table, coffee and tea. Black and Earl Grey different, but together. Outside the rain continued, but it didn't sound lonely anymore. It sounded like possibility, like renewal, like the world washing itself clean and starting fresh. Maya rested her head on Connor's shoulder. We're really doing this. Building a life together. We really are. It's not what I imagined. Better or worse, better. So much better than I ever imagined. Connor looked around the apartment. Toys on the floor, dishes in the sink, Harper's drawings everywhere, Maya's books on the shelves, his art supplies in the corner. Their life, messy and real and beautiful. Not perfect, never perfect, but theirs. And that was everything. Rain tapped against the windows. Time ticked forward. 2 broken people who'd learned how to be whole together. A child caught between worlds who'd found solid ground. An absent mother working to become present. A family built not on blood or tradition, but on showing up, on trying, on choosing each other every single day. Outside, the city continued. People living their lives, making their choices, building their own stories. But inside this apartment, 3 people had found something rare, something precious, something worth every risk, every fear, every moment of doubt. They'd found home, not in a place, but in each other, and time moved forward, carrying them toward whatever came next, together, always together. If you've followed Connor, Maya, and Harper's journey from that rainy morning in Seattle to this moment of hard-won happiness, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below telling me which moment resonated most with you. Was it the first kiss that changed everything? The custody battle that tested them? Or maybe the moment they chose courage over fear? Subscribe to the channel for more stories about love loss and the brave act of trying again. And hit that like button if you believe family is something you build, not something you're born into. Thank you for being part of this journey.